So the time has finally come, and I myself could not be more excited. Today they finally broke ground on the hog barn, and so right now I'm heading over to the farm to go see how they're doing. Also, I gotta run over there, and right now I'm in my dad's pickup. I gotta run over there and get the fifth wheel, and I gotta bring the skid steer home. So I'm also gonna do that today. But I'm mainly over here to see how the barn looks because I'm kind of excited. It's looking pretty good so far. I like how it looks already. There's not even anything here yet. So I just pulled up and I'm looking, and right now, from what my dad told me, you probably can't see, there's a pile of dirt right there where they dug a hole with the excavator, and they got down about 3 or 4 feet and water started filling up the hole and it started caving in. So down here is a little lower. So what they're doing right now is they're going to try up there. As you can see, the scraper's up there running right now. So they're going to try up there on top of the hill. So that way when they hit their grade, they have to be 8 feet at the bottom. That's how big the pits are. So they're hoping that when they're 8 feet down there, there's not going to be any water, because that's probably about a 30 or 40 foot increase from here to up there on that little hill. So that's not going to be right next to the road, right up here where we wanted it to be, but up here should be plenty good. That's a pretty cool machine. That's one of those machines where you wish you owned one, but you don't need it for anything. You just want to own one just so you own one, just because they look cool and they just look so cool. And they sound so mean too. Oh, I wish I had one. Well, I'm out and about. I'm gonna go take a look at some of the fields that we sprayed just the other day and see how they're coming. I haven't been over here since we did spray, so I just want to see how the beans look and how the weeds look and how the corn looks, because we tried to spray all the corn acres, so all the fields that were corn last year are beans this year. So when they sprout up, they have a lot of volunteer corn in them. So we mix different chemicals for different fields. So I want to take a look at how the corn's doing and how some of the weeds are doing on those fields. Well, I planted this field here, and as you can tell, I kind of missed a little spot here. Surprisingly, there aren't any weeds growing in it, which kind of surprises me. There's a little guy there and a little guy there, a couple up there. But it's not just packed full of weeds like I thought it was going to be. Let's walk over here a little bit. Oh yeah. The beans are definitely a little burnt. But it's taking care of the weeds pretty well. So I'd say we're doing pretty good. Alright, so that's not actually what volunteer corn means. Volunteer corn means that, so this field was corn last year, and so some of you are probably asking what volunteer corn is. Well, volunteer corn is corn that has volunteered to be there when it shouldn't really be there. So is what we do with volunteer corn is we try and kill it, get rid of it. So this guy volunteered to be here, and this bean field doesn't need to be here. We're gonna take them out. We're gonna throw them over there because we don't need them here. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and check one more field. Then after that, I'm gonna go home, or not home, back to the farm and get the skid steer, because I'm afraid That's all I'm gonna have time for because my camera's about out of battery and I forgot to bring another one. So yeah, is corn that was on the ground before we even came in and planted it. Now yeah, it has sat there over the winter time, but with all the different types of varieties and all the genetics that they put into them nowadays, they last pretty long. So as long as that corn finds a way to kind of wiggle itself into the ground, most likely during tillage, and then it will suck up some of those nutrients from the fertilizer that we spread, it sprouts. So we need to come by and get rid of it, because otherwise when we go and harvest, we're gonna have a lot of corn in our beans, and I don't think the elevator will be too happy with that. So when I say volunteer corn, that's what I mean. It's really funny with this field because this field kind of has two sides, because there's a big waterway that runs through it. All the way, it kind of makes its way up, zigzags its way up through the field. And this side was planted with the corn planter, was planted in rows. Here, I'll go this way. Planted in rows. And on the other side of the waterway, it was planted with the drill. So it's kind of funny when you're driving down the road and you'll see these rows, and then you'll drive to the other side and they'll be really narrow. So it just kind of looks funny from the... So there wasn't a whole lot of volunteer corn on this field in the first place, but the stuff that is here is definitely starting to die off. It's starting to get brown. The beans are definitely brown, as you can tell. They did get a little burnt, but they'll rebound just fine. The crop's a little smaller than we'd like it to be, but it has been raining here quite a bit lately, so they're a little oversaturated. So a couple of sunny days, hopefully. I believe they're coming up here this week. The rest of this week should be sunny. So hopefully a little bit of sun and a little bit of wind will dry this field right up, and they'll start to perk up a little bit. Well, I just got back to the farm. I'm gonna go ahead and load up the skid steer. Then I'm gonna call it for this video because I'm afraid my battery's gonna run out. So if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. And until next time, see ya.